My last couple of weeks have been unbelievably chaotic. We got back from vacation, unpacked everything at home, just to find out that our AC is broken in the most hellish summer week. Cannot breathe, cannot sleep, the dogs cannot breathe. We had to pack everything back up in like a matter of 2 days and go to another location because we just couldn't stay here for the week. It was just absolutely unbearable heat. So now we're back home. Someone's potentially coming to fix the AC tomorrow. I'm really hoping they will get it done. And now I'm just feeling up in the air. I feel like I don't know what's going on in my life anymore. Nothing is in a routine. Nothing is in its place, organized, and I cannot function, you know? Like, I don't have my reading routine, I don't have my work routine. And this week I want to ease myself back into being productive and organizing my life. I've really been missing reading. I haven't been reading as much as usual because my life has been absolutely crazy and up in the air for the last longer than a month. So I really want to get back into reading this week. I want to organize some parts of my house. Like, we had to move the whole entire library essentially so that we can have access to the AC. And now my books are stacked on the floor in my office, and it's driving me absolutely nuts. So a bit later this week at some point, we'll get all the books back on the shelves and maybe we'll reorganize some of them. This upcoming fall will be incredibly busy for me. I have to collect data for my dissertation, which is very time consuming. It's a fun part of doing research, but it's very time consuming and very energy consuming. You have to like interact with a lot of people. You have to make sure you're on track with your protocol. So that will be one of my priorities this fall. The other priority is I will be teaching a course that I need to kind of basically prepare from scratch this summer. So I'm already getting a little bit anxious knowing all of the things that are coming up, and those things are just my priority. But there are a million other projects, both personal and work related, that I have to focus on in the fall semester. So I really want to take advantage of this extra time that I have this summer to prepare really well. So I really want to use this week as easing back into a routine with absolutely everything, but also still trying to enjoy my time off. What's supposed to be my time off obviously is no time off for me, but I'm so incredibly happy. I created a whole new organization page on my Notion to organize my life into like different compartments, which I used to do in my first year or 2 years of PhD, which is really helpful for me, because if you're someone who has a lot of different things or different projects going on all at once, I feel like just having one to-do list, one long to-do list, is not good for me. It's not a good system, because then I don't see what is associated with what project, what is more urgent, where's the deadline that goes for what. And so having something that I put into compartments, it's so easy for me to visualize and to immediately be able to tell what I need to get done on that specific week or that specific day. So I really want to show you what I did with my Notion. I'm so happy about it. I think it's going to be the perfect system for me coming up in the fall. But also now for the summer, because it's starting to get busy and I'm starting to feel the pressure already accumulating. So I'm really happy that I worked on that page. But aside from work, I also just really want to get back into reading. I haven't been reading consistently. I really want to have a more steady reading routine, and I want to prioritize reading, especially in these times where things start to pile up and I'm getting busy. I really want to take some time off and schedule some time off to actually read and do the things that I enjoy doing. Right now it's Sunday, so it's, you know, a chill day. I do my best to not work on the weekends. I have done that for the last year and it's really worked really well. I mean, obviously there were some days where I had to work because deadlines were coming up and it's just kind of unavoidable in this field. But I do try my best to not work on the weekends, and this is a weekend where I'm completely off. I'm not doing any work. So for the rest of the day, I think I'm gonna try to get some reading in. And then I also have a small little book haul, because in my dread of last week, I went shopping. I did some therapy, okay? I bought this one, which really screamed my name because of the color. I love everything kind of more fallish color. And this is actually very fitting because it's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Short Stories by Washington Irving. And I love this like inside page. Look at this. It's little pumpkins. I'm not a big fan of short stories, so we'll see if I'll actually be able to get through all of these. But what I really want to read is the title short story, The Legend of the Sleepy Hollow, I think I've watched a couple of movie adaptations, but I can't remember which ones, and I also can't remember the story very well or if I liked it. So I'm really excited to read it, and I'm thinking maybe to do a readathon for Halloween. We'll see. We'll see. I'll be super busy, so we'll see if there's time for me to do that. But if I do have time for a readathon, I think this would be the perfect pick because it's very short. And yeah, overall, I'm just really happy to add this to my collection. It's very cute. So I bought a Christmas book in the middle of the summer. If I see a book that has Christmas on the title or Christmas vibes on the cover, I'll just buy it. So that's just kind of the rule that I live my life by. This is Christmas, a biography by Judith Flanders. And this is a nonfiction, which I don't read very much. And in fact, one of my goals this year was to read more nonfiction, which absolutely just did not happen at all. But maybe this will remediate a little bit the fact that I haven't read any. This is exactly what the title implies. It's a biography of Christmas, where the author just explores all of the traditions that we are used to seeing on Christmas, how they came to be. I think it's also a little bit of discussion on the commercialization of Christmas, which is probably why the cover, it looks very, very Victorian, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the significant time periods in which Christmas really started to get more commercial was during the Victorian times. Really excited to read this and to learn more about my favorite holiday. And then the last book that I picked up, I was thrifting today and I found this. It's like Water for Chocolate. I cannot remember if I read this in the past. I remember something about this book in Spanish class back in college, but I can't remember if I read it or if I read passages from it or if we just discussed it in class. I literally cannot remember. But this is essentially a piece of Mexican fiction about this little girl who basically she wants to be with the love of her life, but her mom is not allowing her to do it. Her mom is really keen on keeping traditions, and she's essentially quite strict with the things that her daughter can do. And I remember from this that the structure of it is really cool. She will start every chapter with a recipe, and then she would use that recipe within the chapter itself. So she kind of gives you the ingredients at the beginning of the chapter of that specific recipe, and then the preparation of the recipe. And then the chapter would go on with the plot of the story, which I think it's so unique and creative. I haven't read any book that does that before. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to this. This kind of gives me summer vibes. I'm not sure what season it's set in, but maybe if I have time this summer, I would pick it up. So this concludes my little haul. I think now I'm gonna go do some actual reading, and then maybe tonight we'll set the mood and do some cozy cooking, and ooh, maybe I should do some baking. That sounds really good. Maybe we'll do some baking tonight too. All right, I'll see you soon. Good morning, or rather good afternoon. I have already started my day. I did some reading in the morning, which is something that I really want to get back into, having the consistent routine of sitting down in the morning with my breakfast and my coffee and reading. So I'm really happy I did that, and then I did some work, and now I just finished having lunch and I'm going to continue working. I have many more things to get done today, but before that I thought I'll show you the Notion page that I talked about yesterday. So here is my Notion page. Made a whole page where I could organize my whole entire life basically. So everything that has to do with work, with not work, personal, not personal, doesn't matter, it's all in here, and I have different sections to help me keep me organized. So you could kind of think of it as a digital agenda, but the structure is a little different. It's a structure that works for me. I don't really have pages for like every single day, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So I have different sections, and you can kind of see the sections here if you go on the right hand side. I just scroll through, but you can also use this. And the first section is just a general overview. When I get into the page, I have this very cute picture that I put, which kind of merges perfectly my two favorite seasons, winter in the back, and then inside of the home it looks like it's very autumnal. So I love it. It's such a cozy productivity type of picture. Next to it I have my to-do list for the day. So this is for today. I already checked off this, and I'm filming right now, so I've checked off this, and I'll continue to work on the rest of the tasks for the day. So this one I usually set it up either the night before or when I'm starting my workday. I'll just quickly go through all of my different sections, which I'll show you in just a bit, and then pull out important things I need to get done and then plop them in here. And then I also have reminders here. These are general reminders. It's not for a specific day, it's just reminders for the rest of the month, things coming up that I need to kind of be on track of and not forget about them. So I'll just put the actual reminder, and then with a different color and italics, I'll just put kind of the time that thing will take place. And I put on this cute widget of the time and the day. There's a lot of different websites that you can use as resources and kind of plop them into Notion. So just to kind of make it a bit more aesthetic. If you're interested in that, I could put some information about that in the description of the video. After general overview, we go into more specific view of my tasks, and this is my tasks dashboard. So here I separated into different components of my life. So I have the first one here is PhD. So this is all the work that I have to do for the PhD. The first one is obviously the most important, is my dissertation. And then here I create a little to-do list of all the things that I need to get done. This to-do list mostly consists of things that are within the next 2 weeks-ish. Like every 2 to 3 weeks, I update these to-do lists. Obviously, I also update them if something comes up to my mind, like the day of. I'll just write it that day. I don't have to wait a specific day for me to update this list, but I don't really change a lot of things here every single day. Here are the main things which within the next 2-3 weeks I should be able to get done for the dissertation. Then moving on to conferences. So I have here the upcoming conference that I have to go through, and then for this specific conference, all the things that I need to get done. And then the last one is service. So service is kind of unpaid work that you do in academia. Sometimes we have to peer review other papers, or we're part of different committees. So whenever I have that coming up, I'll just put it in here. So I have a peer review article that I have to submit coming up, so I put it in here. I don't have a deadline yet, which is why I haven't put a deadline for this yet. Then we move into work projects. So this one is a little bit blending with the PhD. It's mostly things that are related to the university because that's where I work. But to me, it's a bit different than my main focus in the PhD, which is my dissertation and my own work. These are more paid type of opportunities that I take on for different reasons. So the first one that I have here is the teaching that I have to do this fall. So I have to, create a course outline, go over, take notes on the chapters, and create the slides, which I'm hoping to accomplish within the next 2 weeks. And then lab, this is work that I have to get done for my lab. Right now, I don't have to do too much for that because it's summer and we don't really have meetings during the summer, but I still have to meet with a team to discuss some analysis. And then this is a separate project that I'm working on with a professor, and here again, I just put all the things that I need to get done within the next 2 weeks. Oh, I just realized to add something here. I have this article that I haven't written and it's been sitting on the back of my mind for months. So I think I'll just leave it in here. And if ever I have some extra time, I'll get to it. My last category is other/life. One of them is YouTube. So here I've actually incorporated my YouTube page. I have a page where I organize all of my YouTube stuff. And if I click on it, I'm not gonna click on it now, but if I click on it here, it's gonna lead me to that page. They don't all have that. Yeah, you see, like for conferences, I don't have a specific page. Dissertation, I don't have a specific page for it. I probably will make a page for the dissertation. Thus far, it's been a lot of writing, but I guess when I'm going to start collecting data in the fall, it's going to get much more hectic and much more busy. So I might create a whole page for it. And then, you know, I'm planning a wedding. So all of the things that have to be done for that. And then life is just like other things, you know, social activities, leisurely activities, all the things that I want to get done. Then my next section is calendar, and I split this into weekly and into monthly. So weekly, I already have a to-do list that I do every single day, which is up here, where again, I take the things from down here, whatever is most urgent, whatever I know that I need to get done. And I plop it in here to do it on that specific day. But sometimes it's useful to just kind of plan my whole week very, very generally. I don't like to be too specific with the planning, because what happens is that sometimes I over or underestimate a certain amount of time that something takes me to accomplish. And then if I don't get to accomplish it on a day that I specifically plan to do it, I get really frustrated. So I'm not very specific with this. I just kind of plan for the whole week at the beginning of the week, just to kind of get an idea of the things that I could get done, to make sure that I'm on track to complete all of these tasks within the 2-3 weeks that I've given myself to do it. Where this is really helpful is that I write a focus for every single day. So essentially, I just want to have a day where my mind is completely focused on one of those sections, because if I split too much my tasks, if I do like YouTube, or I have to write up a paper, or I have to think about my dissertation, I have to finalize the outline for the teaching position. If I have to do all of those things in one day, my mind has difficulty with switching from task to task and from project to project. And I realize that by the time I'm like on the third one, I'm not able to focus as deeply on it. So I'll still have tasks that pertain to other sections, but those tasks will not be as important, or will be just kind of small minor tasks that really don't require too much of my energy or too much of me thinking about them. So for example, today's Monday, my focus is RA, so my research assistantship, and my big plan for the day is to write up a whole section. So this will require most of my intellectual and physical energy to write up this section. And then I also have some other things that like came to my mind that I want to do, which is to film this section that I'm filming right here, but this is not requiring me to really like sit down and think about it, and it's gonna take 5 hours of my day. And then I do the same for the rest of the week, and I try to alternate different projects so that I make sure that by the end of the week, most of my priorities have at least one day where I'm really focused on that specific priority. So tomorrow it will be mostly dissertation work. Wednesday it will be work for the course that I'm planning. Thursday my focus will be on YouTube, and then Friday I'll just kind of leave Friday open for anything that I won't be able to finish within these 4 days. And lastly, I have my kind of monthly. So this one is literally just a screenshot, which I think I'm gonna blur just for privacy purposes, but this is just a screenshot of my calendar inside my MacBook. So I keep all of my appointments, all of my tasks, big deadlines, everything is in my MacBook calendar. It's very accessible to me and I love it. And then I put another widget with the weather to make it cute. So yeah, that's my Notion organization page. When you have so many things going on, it's really nice to have all of these being completely separate, so you could see the exact tasks that you have to accomplish. And this for me just really worked really well, and it kept me organized and on track, and you know, not forgetting any important things that I need to do. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions about it, let me know. So right now I think I'm gonna continue working. I have one main thing to get done today. I have to finish writing up a section for a paper, so I'll finish doing that right now. a really good day today, if you cannot tell by the grin on my face. I have been productive, but I've also been prioritizing taking time off and doing some of the activities that I love to do. And I'm here to give you a little bit of an update on one of those activities, which is obviously reading. I've been consistent so far with reading in the morning. I mean, it's only been 2 days, but I've been consistent in those 2 days with reading in the morning. I'm currently reading 2 books. And one of them is The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. I have started it. I am 80 pages through. I have just made it onto book number 3. I don't want to... Oh my gosh. There's a baby bunny. We have so many bunnies where I live. It's freaking cute. It just makes my life so much better whenever I see them. Oh, and he's munching on a little leaf. Okay, sorry, I'm back. What was I saying? I don't even know. I completely got distracted. I don't really want to give you too much of my thoughts on this because I'm actually trying to film a whole entire vlog on The Brothers Karamazov. My plan is to read this throughout the remaining of the summer, so I think the vlog will be out probably beginning of September, so I don't want to talk about it now because I'm saving all of my thoughts for that vlog. The other book that I'm reading, it's also a little bit chunkier, and I'm reading it on my Kindle, and that book is Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I finally cracked another one of his works. Every single time I read Brandon Sanderson, I'm just never disappointed. Like, it just never happens that I read something I'm like, okay, this could have been a bit better. Nope, could not be me. This is my 5th book of his, and I've read 1 or 2 short stories that he also wrote. I think Elantris is the first published novel of his. Like, it's literally his first work. Some of the reviews were saying that you could definitely tell this is his first novel because his writing is quite amateurish in this book. And as I was reading it, I could automatically tell it's Brandon Sanderson. Like, his style is so particular and his worlds are so expansive, and he really digs into so many different viewpoints and characters, and you know, he's focusing on politics, he's focusing on love and relationships, he's focusing on religion, and I could automatically tell it's Brandon Sanderson. Like, there's nothing to me in here that screams this is an amateur person, this is not Brandon Sanderson at his peak. Maybe I also haven't read Brandon Sanderson at his peak. I haven't read what is that big series that everyone raves about? Is it The Way of Kings? Or that's the first book in the series? Can't remember the name of it. I have not read that series yet. I'm saving it for myself for a little bit later in my life. So I haven't read that. So maybe like if I were to compare that one to this, I could see a big difference. But I have read, for example, Mistborn, which is another very beloved series of his, and I just cannot tell at this point in the story where I'm at, I cannot tell a big difference in the writing style. So I feel like this is a really good book, and his style and his writing is impeccable. I am 40% through it, so maybe like towards the end I'll see some differences because I feel like his endings always have a very similar structure and they're all very intense. So maybe I'll be able to tell a little bit of a difference in his style in the way that he was writing endings with this book. Maybe, I don't know, but so far so good. I love it. The title of the book, Elantris, is essentially a very opulent city, a city where in the past people that were almost godlike used to live. So they had a lot of power, they had political power over anybody else in the realm around them. They were very rich. I think, were they immortal? Can't remember. They were very beautiful. Architecture of the city was like grand, and something happened, something called the Shaud, which is a very mysterious event. We don't know what it is. Essentially made it so that the city is now completely decaying, and it kind of affects randomly or seemingly randomly. I'm sure it's not random knowing Brandon Sanderson, but it does affect at random certain people, and those people start decaying. They become very sick, and they're all thrown into Elantris, which is now kind of a guarded city where nobody can really enter because it's only those kind of zombie-like almost people live in complete despair and hurt and hunger. So we follow mainly the perspective of a prince called Prince Raudin, who at the beginning of the book is exiled to Elantris, and we get through his perspective the life of people that live in Elantris, what it looks like, how the city became so chaotic, what is happening, who is living there, etc. It's a very secluded place where really nobody ever goes anymore. It's, as I said, it's guarded, and so there's a lot of mystery even for the people living in the cities next to it, what really is going on there. We see his perspective. We also get the perspective of Princess Serene, who is his betrothed. The princess was on her way to get married to him from a different kingdom or a different realm, and when she arrives, she gets the notice that Rauden is dead. Obviously, we know that he's not dead, but she doesn't know that. According to the laws in the city of Kae, which is where she is, if the prince dies in the period in which she is betrothed to him, she essentially gets legally married to him by the fact that he's dead. So essentially she's a widow now, and we follow her perspective, which I really love. She is badass. I really love how Brandon Sanderson writes strong female characters. Like, all of the female characters that I've read from him, I'm like, yeah, hard smash. Hard smash. Yeah, so I'm loving it. There's also quite a bit of a discussion on religion. In the city that we're set, there's two big cults or two big religions that are kind of silently fighting one another. I'm only 40% through. We're still kind of at the beginnings. I feel like even though it's almost half of the book, I'm feeling as if Brandon Sanderson is still really just setting up the scene. Like, we get a little bit of conflict, but it's more so internal conflict, hasn't really like exploded yet. So I'm waiting for the action to pick up. So yeah, today was a good day because I worked a lot on my dissertation, and then I had so much more work that I could have done, but I made a very smart decision to close my computer and to go to the park and read. I think I'll go make some dinner and have a cozy, relaxing night. We've made it to the end of the week. It's Friday. I haven't vlogged too much the last 2 days. They've been pretty hectic. Essentially, it's been just work. I've just been catching up on a lot of work, having some meetings. Yesterday I filmed my bookshelf reorganization video, which we're gonna see, so my bookshelves are back into place. I do have one more bookshelf that I have to fix here. Maybe I'll do it today if I have any energy left, but to be honest, I'm really tired at this point. I've just been working nonstop, and there's just still so much work that I want to accomplish before the end of the week, which means because it's Friday, I have to do it all today. And it's a bit gloomy outside, so obviously the Halloween t-shirt had to come out. So I think I'm just gonna work for a good couple hours. I have to finish writing a section for my research assistantship. I already sent a couple emails. I need to finalize the surveys for my dissertation. I need to finish editing this vlog. And then in terms of reading, hasn't been going great, if I'm being honest. I think I might be getting into a little bit of a reading slump, and I think part of it is because I chose two thicker books. Like, both the books that I'm reading right now are huge, and so the pace is a little bit slow because of that. I'm loving both of the books, but they are just kind of a little bit more slow to get through. So yeah, I think that was not the smartest thing on my part to choose The Brothers Karamazov and Elantris to read at the same time. I'll be trying to read a bunch more this weekend. I would really like to try to finish Elantris by the end of the week, but I don't know if that's feasible. Next week I have some really exciting plans for reading, which I'm also going to include in a video, so you'll see that in a couple weeks. But for now, let's get into working.